The stream has begun.
Welcome, you people who want form reviews or just want to watch. If you're watching this in post, I'm always interested to see what you are doing in your life right now that made you think, I'm going to put this stream on. So for me, it used to be stringing rackets. I'd put something like this on. Just kind of have it vegging in the background. For those of you who don't have your form in here, because I feel like that's kind of the main audience, people who are obviously getting their form checked. Okay, we got 23, 24 people, something around there, I guess. Today, we're going to start moving through. What is up? As always, we have discs in the shop. Buy them if you want. Just by way of announcements, because I don't really have anywhere else to do that, I guess. That's not like a let's edit a whole video. I think we're going to go through conceptually the whole throw like we did the arm the disc video. I think there's going to be one or two more videos kind of like that, going through why walk up and things of that nature. Yeah. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of questions when you put out something like that, because the reason I put it out is because there's a lot of stuff out there. Everybody thinks I'm just like, first I should clarify this. Everybody thinks I'm just like on some anti-slingshot crusade, and I'm not. Let me openly say, I like the guy. I really do like the guy. Do I agree with his teachings? Of course not. But I still really like the guy overall. So in the beginning, or a little while back, I felt like I needed to address his teaching specifically because I was getting so many messages of, oh, you and Slingshot teach the same thing, or you guys whatever. So I wanted to distance myself from that, but I'm not like on a crusade against him. Now it's just I want to present information the way that I've learned it and the way that I see it currently. And there are a bunch of people who are kind of in this spinny boy camp, right? I formerly one from that camp, right? And there's some nomenclature, and there's some, what is it called when you're talking about certain words? Semantics. There are some semantics involved between like swing form and just like very spinny form, and I've had both of those. We've had videos on the channel about both of those. So yeah, hopefully just kind of clarifying big picture stuff here soon with multiple videos. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Sosim says is what he is teaching wrong. I disagree with a couple aspects of his teaching. So from my perspective, yes, I would say that. But I also don't think I'm objective truth. So you're going to have to judge that. I'm just presenting evidence. Do with it what you will. All right. Anyways, you guys spread the word. I've been seeing stuff pop up here and there where it's like, this guy's just on an anti-slingshot crusade. And it's like, I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm just on an anti-spinning crusade. So, because it's just better. In my opinion, it's better. Okay, enough of that. Reviews. Cam, we're starting with you, dude. Greetings from America. So, a few distinctions, or Cam throws far already, right? He's throwing like 475. I'd consider anything over 450 far. So he's kind of tweaking inside of his form. To me, what looks forced right now is the back leg counterweight. Like you're intentionally picking it up and swinging it back behind you. So when done properly, this isn't like something that you need to, like in the beginning, cool. Let's like make sure it's back there, all the great things. But the trail side looks too intentional. So the counterweight's good to help you to brace, but also there's a timing that all of this kind of works together very naturally. So for me here, this looks like I'm going to put my front foot down, and here I'm actually going to lift it up and kind of like mule kick behind me. Right, a little too forceful on the leg kick there. What am I looking for? Reference content. Let's take someone random-ish, or someone that we don't usually do. I gotta say thanks to Cole. We also need to do reviews of Cole's videos, because he sent these to me, and I was gonna do stuff with them, but other videos kept popping up as kind of more important. But you see here, this slide with the left, it's so not forced. Right, and I intentionally picked somebody who's different than we might think is kind of acceptable form, right? With his foot a little further back. Right, but you see that he's not really picking up the foot. So I think you got to kind of feel your way around this trail side a little bit. Any questions there, Cam? I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Wow, nothing. Just flabbergasted with the explanation, I guess, you know. Or we've got crazy lag, one of the two. All right, well, I'm gonna move on. What would cause the disc to go ridiculously far when I throw with my giant muscles? First, I probably have to, it depends. Like the first thing I want to know is what you ate for breakfast. What is up, Mark? Mark? Nails. Well, yeah, of course, that explains it. Okay, let's see. Current cue, deadly, X-Rage. Where'd he go? He got shifted up. Let's see. This part, I mean, this part right here looks pretty solid, dude. So congrats on that. I mean, of course, we can say that the like you want to delay the arm moving forward until after you're fully planted, right? You want to be planted here, and your arm should still be back, right? Thus is the great. I feel like that's got to be the hardest thing in all of disc golf. Maybe in all of sports, I don't know. It just seems so darn difficult. But hey, it doesn't have to be. Maybe some of you guys just get it right away. So the initial move here is great. Someone's breaking in. They broke in through the other door. It's weird.
Well, try to stop this guy.
Get in here, Dakota.
Hello. So,
Be distracted.
you're welcome, everyone.
Yeah, this is great. So I would say get the left arm in tighter here, so that it's not dragging. So you're definitely on the right track. I think we need to groove a little bit more. You need to just groove a little bit more. You're pretty close with it. So you're here, and instead of getting here with this backside, instead of just having it not rotate, let's actually work on getting this left arm tight to the body instead of having it out here. So kind of weighs you back. It's kind of pulling you away from the objective over here. So as you continue working on not rotating too much, which you're definitely headed in the right direction, get this, work on both of these arms getting tight. So it should be, and that'll help kind of keep us here. So here, arms, so back together, in together, and now it's tight. Like that. So instead of this, back together, in together, and that'll help keep you here. Will that cause nose up issues at all? Well, that's going to change, right? Nose angle is going to change as you tweak other stuff. It's one of those things. Nose angle is like real whack-a-mole. Like you go take care of something else and nose angle pops back up and you're like, you little snot, like here you are again. But nose angle is something that you just revisit whenever you're happy with kind of the timing of when the disc is coming out and all that, right? And then you just know that at that moment you can always feel, and with your wrist and with some supination perhaps, you can fix that nose angle whenever you want to start paying attention to what the disc angle is at your new release point, right? Because you can take, if you're over rotating, you learn nose down over here, right? And maybe it's somewhere around here now. So you're just gonna have to revisit that. It happens. Yeah, Cam, you missed yourself. Go back and watch it. Yeah, you're for sure on the right track. Give it a little more time. Get that left hand in tight. Just add a little layer of focus onto that, and still going. Absolutely. Okay, current cue, Sean Thomas. I like this. I like this current cue thing.
Yeah.
Especially when we have 57 people. It's actually 23 or 24. Yeah, if it was actually 57, I don't think I could have the mental stamina to go through them all. So I would actually do part 1 and part 2. I could not do that. By the time you get to about 35, your brain's just melted. And you're like, just listen to what I told everybody else. Yeah, so this is kind of sneaky over rotation. Right, sneaky because the thing that we usually, like, our eyes get drawn to is like the left arm and what that's doing. But since it's kind of tucked back here behind his body, it's hard to see that this back shoulder really is pushing around the whole time. You see how it doesn't stop? How it all just moves together? So you can kind of put that left side on a swivel, because it's just here. So you're doing a good job of like starting the move here. Well, hey, look at that. There we go. You guys don't need to see Discord popping off. We do have great Discord if you're not on it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, here it's just moving the whole time, right? So everything moving together, right? We think about our whip analogy. Not everything moves together, right? It's one, like, sure, everything moves together in the beginning, right? And then one part starts moving faster than the next, then that piece stops, next part, right? So left shoulder needs to stop here, and your arm being, let me think about what view you guys are going to see. So you're going to see from here, yeah, your left arm being over here and kind of pinning behind you off the camera. Let me do it to where the shot's in front of me now, like towards the door. Here. So instead of just have it here and then rotate, it needs to kind of move forward, right? Forward and tight. So that can go different ways of doing that. Some people do that here, some people do that here, some people do that here. Either way, the back shoulder is not going to just keep pushing around. So here, forward, here, forward, 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 forward. So just got to calm that back side down. We also have a video that we just put out that goes through the whole shooby-doo-wop. And then you see that the back shoulder is not going to move all the way around. Now the hand just gets to go, right? The elbow went, the hand's moving. And then afterwards, the shoulder can finish going. So does it kind of push the hips forward? Does what kind of push the... Nothing really pushes the hips forward. So first we go coil during our final stride. We coil back here. And then when we plant, so once we put our weight on our front, then the arms come in. But once you're planted, that's where your hips are at. So you go, boom, plant that. The goal of that basically is to put your hips where they're going to be. So we don't need to push them forward. We don't need to push them forward. Either which way of forward you're thinking, rotate them forward or physically push them forward. It's not the goal. The goal is we stick this foot out there so we can hit, and now we've got a base. And that means our hips are staying here until they're forced to move, because they can't actually stay here, but they're going to try. The left arm gets tighter, but more importantly, the left arm does not push the left shoulder around. So you watch here. Left shoulder coming around the whole time. Watch his left arm coming in tight, and watch his left shoulder. Stays on this little shadow here, not coming around. Right? It stays in place. Yours doesn't stay in place for any amount of time. So yeah. I didn't fully understand how to fix it. Yeah, that's basically the last video that we did. Just do this. So start here, put your hand on your chest, and move your arm forward, which is like forward into your net. Right? Now your shoulder's not moving. Right, so start with that. Here. Right, and then eventually you can allow your shoulder to move. You're still not going to push it forward with your left arm. You can just keep it here, kind of close to the body. You can move it back a little bit as both arms go back, right? Back and then close. But we want to make sure that when this left arm moves forward, it doesn't go and turn our shoulders. It just goes back. Like that. work on that for a while, and then you can start letting your shoulders go forward. Yeah, I would. I mean, I would try to just quiet everything down. Yeah, the shoulder, like quiet both shoulders down. Left arm, it's all attached. Right now, it's all very movie. Hand position. If that's 12 o'clock, have your hand towards 7 or 8. Form reviews. Cam. Yeah, I'm sure if you focus on it, you'll feel. We kind of talked about this in person last time, right? Even if it's inactive, even if it's a non-thought right now, once you start paying attention to it, you'll be able to feel what it's doing, I think. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried for you.
Backy.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, this right here is kind of the low-hanging fruit. So, two things. I don't think you need to step this wide because you're taking space away from the disc to move forward. Yeah, so if I'm walking towards the door, I obviously don't need to go here, right? If I had to go here and I try to pull through, my disc would actually probably have to be vertical to get past my body, or I'd run into my body and have to do some weird stuff, right? It's not necessarily that it needs to be like further forward, but directionally, yes, it needs to be more forward. I guess that would be farther forward. I'm trying to get better about that. Further, farther. Just make them both the same word at this point and let us derive it from context. Right. It just needs to be directionally forward. So, more or less. There's going to be a little bit of stagger, but just not as much as you're doing right now. Second thing is this right here, which you might have developed to get the disc back past your body. Not sure why it happened, but the fix is you've got to be able to focus on feeling this, right? Most times when this happens, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but people are like, I don't even feel that I do that. Not a problem. Step one is to pay attention and feel that that's happening. So feel that your palm's flipping up there. Instead, after you feel that that's happening, then try to keep the disc relatively level, right? So just what you're going through back here doesn't really help get you moving forward with the disc. So try to calm this down. Doesn't need to be as out as you're doing either. So when we start walking directionally forward, now for the disc to have a path to move with good body posture, it doesn't have to be all the way over here. I understand. Over here right now, it's probably just what happens if you try to get extended away from your body so you don't whack yourself every time. But once we start moving forward, now this doesn't have to be an exaggerated out back here. It can just go back. And then you're good. So I'd work on those two things. Just kind of feel where your backswing's taking you and disc orientation. Tom. All right. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. Okay. That's what I've been trying to do. For those who are just listening to this on a repeat, he writes, I've been working on my pull through, the arm being detached from the body, as you called it. Top is the new form, the bottom is the old form. So the top's the one that we're looking at. This current. I've gotcha. I think the interesting thing between your old form on the bottom and your new form is that around this time you see how much your left hand had to get reined in. Here, in order for you to develop more independence with your right. I think it's time to kind of start looking at the left side and seeing that it's kind of making it tougher for you to truly not rotate that left shoulder. So I think it would be worthwhile at this point to, instead of having your left arm, so it was here, right? This is a long way for it to go without causing any rotation, right? So if I'm way back here with it and I've got to get it in tight and I try to get it up here, well, since it's way over here, it's almost impossible, so it feels, to not rotate the body forward with it. So instead I start working on getting this left hand, getting both of these back together, so you'll still want your shoulders to coil, but you want them to be able to coil without the left hand going super far away. And when you see people that are this far away, usually their hand goes behind them because it doesn't want to have to travel all the way over here. So I'm not necessarily recommending that you put it behind you, but I'm not saying don't do it. It's going to depend on what helps your timing get there and get that arm tight to the body. But I would recommend maybe trying something to where it feels like this hand's almost on like your chest pocket. That way it has a nice, easy path when the right hand starts moving forward to get tight and for both of them to move forward here. So let's quiet down this left side now. There. There. That way you can have a true forward instead of a round. And then I think after that, you might want to consider just taking some time to throw and work through some kind of new timing. Yeah. So once you see on the camera that the arms are tight, here, then come on, Drew. Then you can put down the camera for a little bit and just throw. Maxwell Fresh. I think I need to slow this down for you guys, actually. What in the world? So that everybody can see it. I do like that. I do like seeing forehands, stuff that breaks up the monotony of backhands. Where are the tomahawks? Okay, I've got the slow mode. Yeah. So I said something on one of our forehand videos, and you're doing exactly what I said, which is not always a good thing. So there's kind of this idea of, I had mentioned here, and kind of like pushing up, right? Well, it's not like 100% true. Like, you don't want to just go down and stand up, for example. The pushing is just a way of saying like resist here. So we don't want to go boop and stand up every time. So I would think about it probably for you more this way, where you're just sticking that foot in the ground and it's just rock solid and it's pushing you back, like it's pushing back against you. So you can throw basically here, right? The idea is that you're not just going no resistance and going past this leg. Also, we don't want to just go boom and jelly down into the leg, right? I see that a lot, which is why I'm saying, you know, it's like pushing up off of this leg. So instead of pushing up, you just need to stop. You just need to get a nice big stomp to stop whatever forward momentum you have and throw from there. And let your hip do, basically. Let me pull up Marweed real quick and show you what I'm talking about. What are you talking about? Boom, stomp. Right. So during the motion, like when the disc is in the hand, he's resisting with the front leg. Right. And so there's going to be some, because he is dropping down a little bit here, right? See where his heads are at? Heads? He's got one head. Andrew the Hydra, right? His head drops moving forward, right? So his body's dropping down, right? So you have to push up in the literal sense of your leg has to resist upwards to make sure you don't fall on your butt. But also, you don't want to just like redirect all your energy up. It's just so you can stop on the front leg, basically. Right? And then at the end, he's got a little bit of momentum left over after the disc is gone, and then he stands up, right? But during the throw itself, he's not standing up. Don't you forget about me. So we see here, here's the body standing up during the throw, right? So now you're going to be kind of lifting the disc instead of able to put everything, like instead of being able to take the rim and, you know, push the rim totally forward, now your body's going to be going up. So even if your hand's going forward, or if your fingers are going forward, your body's still going to be lifting, right? So now you're putting different direction on the disc just by the fact that you're kind of standing into it. probably going to help your trail foot as well. But that's kind of the first thing I would look at. And then I would think about, like, okay, if I'm trying to move this disc forward, right, feel that you have this palm rolling up like this, which is not helpful in terms of throwing the disc far. Because, right, you're not going to use this motion to move the disc forward. It's this one. So we need to go here and push this rim forward, not flip it here and push the rim up and forward. It's just forward and through there. So you should be able to see that you're flipping your palm up too much here. Personally, I like just having the disc already semi-flat back here to make it not as tempting to go past this point, because you are supinating at that point. You are flipping your palm progressively more up. So maybe try having it more level back here so that you can just go forward with it. Yeah, Max. It looks like he rolled his wrist. Isn't that a no-no? Wrist rolling is a no-no depending on when and how you do it. But lots of good players, I mean, Big Germ rolls his wrist all the time. All right, so depends on the when and how. But as a blanket statement, is it a no-no? Not a no-no. No, 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 no. What, is Mango Man injured? Cyanide. Cheers.
Updated you and them.
Cyanide, let's see that beard. Oh, I thought we were going to get a putt for a second. Destroy the basket. Do it. Come on. Okay, now I've actually got to watch it. Yeah, we've got... Your like backhand release feels like what I've had to do with my putting, bro. Sorry. So look at the interaction of the hand and disc. So first things first is you're here and you're going forward with it. You're rotating everything forward instead of letting the hand move past the body. So that's going to force you to do a kind of intentional out move later. See how you kind of lose space there? The space is maintained by getting the arm through that position. So we've got to move the hand faster. And while you're moving the hand through faster and maintain that space, you might as well keep the disc a little bit more level. I know we've talked about this. I know you've struggled with this. But so I guess Yeah, let me know if I'm telling you stuff you already know. Because at that point, what you need to learn is basically how to fix it. But you fixed like other form pieces, so yeah, the hand just not moving past the body enough in the correct manner. Yeah, what you don't need to do faster is your body. So you got to slow down the upper body, and you got to move the hand. The hand's got to get past the body, because right now you're here, and since the disc came in kind of this line, right, as you're rotating, it's trying to bounce out, and you're trying to get it through. So it's like twisting here, which feels like by necessity. So from here, the hand has just got to go past everything. Instead of getting here, and then you stop your elbow, and your elbow's not moving, and then everything's going. Yeah. Yeah, the elbow's going to move first, so if you need to think elbow first, do it. If you think elbow first, and then you look at the video and you get in this position, or you see, oh, that's how I get in this position. But you've got to get in this position. Like if I asked you right now, get in this position. No doubt in my mind that you could do it. So you can learn just even from here, side on. It's like, okay, we've got to break out of this kind of carrying the box forward. We've got to get the elbow to go, let the hand go. I'll take this off. This is one here. Bear with me.
Fine. And then back foot will just tilt in on your chest.
Like that?
Yeah.
Disc? Oh, I threw it. You guys can't see me? I walked through the chat. Yeah, so here. Hand moving past, body still. Like if you have to go to this level of it, do it. If you have to start right here, then do that. All right, start with it. Flat. But this is the move. In terms of form, this is what you need. And then you can start getting your shoulders in there a little bit. But that's the move that you need first, and you got to pay attention to your hand coming through that. Build up speed a little bit at a time. I can do it if I tense my arm like Calvin does. You tense it, well, you shouldn't have to tense it super tight right here. Your grip will need to be progressively tighter as you throw faster, but you need to be able to get through here. So I think just tensing the arm doesn't help this move. If you can do this move with tensing the arm, you can do this move without tensing the arm. It's like more work to tense the arm. I mean, you have to use the arm. Right, this is me using the arm. Shoulder, really. and then you just add it. Slip that a little early. But you can feel that. And that's where you start. Shoulders not moving. Your shoulders in this video are moving. We're going to stop them. We're going to learn to move the elbow forward and the hand forward. We're going to let the disc pass the body. Wait a second. This is actually a 50-second video. Okay, this is the same. This is an issue of everything moving together. Right, the disc being pushed by the shoulders. Pushed. Tick, 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 tick. You see how I go frame by frame, and the back shoulder and the disc go forward, and the front shoulder, this little like unit right here, it all moves together. Click, 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 click. And then a little bit of separation with the hand, a little bit of forward movement. See? So instead what we'd like to do okay, at some point, there we go. Coiled back. Don't let his left hand trick you. It's coming in, look at the shoulder. Staying, 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 hand passing, 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 right? Not moving as a unit. You can see the hand moving, 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 even at points while the shoulder stays. So instead of here and forward, it's here, forward, forward with the hand. So I would work on what I showed in the last video, but I'll show you here. Here, don't move the chest, just move the hand. Just learn to move the hand past the body. Chest staying back. I use my left hand so I know it's staying back. Hand past the body. Good to go. Right. Then, eventually, you can let the body go kind of with the hand, right? Or alongside the hand. Hand's still going to go, and we're just going to leave the body be. And that looks like there. Hands still did the same thing as before, separated. And the body moved to let the hand through. Your lower body timing is not that bad. Not necessarily, Corey. Yeah, you're not gonna fix completely coming over the top until you get your hand coming through. Kind of a long story, but you almost have to start with the upper body and then attack lower body. Because your lower body's not going to stop if your upper body's spinning on top and forcing it to pivot early. Beat him. A forehand. Give me a little more. Okay, so two things. One, this front foot, you don't want pointing this way because it limits where your hips can go. We'd rather have the front foot pointing mostly forward. Second thing, okay, well first let me show that. So instead of being here, more or less, which will lock out your hips, we want the foot pointing mostly forward, somewhere probably just like a little bit diagonal. Doesn't need to be all the way forward. So that's going to allow our hips to move. Now after that, you've got to focus on how your hand works with the disc. Because right now, you're doing a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense for adding spin or adding speed, right? And those are the two things that we do to a disc, right? Everything that we do form-wise is to either get it moving faster forward or to give it more spin. So right now you've got a swoop in there, you've got some stuff that's happening, like your wrist isn't popping forward properly, blah, 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 all these things, right? But it's not so important what you're currently doing, but what do you focus on to fix it? So you've got to feel that, okay, if we're moving forward, what move needs to happen? Well, obviously the disc needs to move forward. And for spin, now what does spin look like? Which way are we trying to spin the disc? So if we're trying to spin the disc forward, right, if I'm throwing flat, basically, what does my spin look like? It means me rotating this thing forward like this, right? Popping forward with my fingers and left. So we've got to focus on, we've got to make that happen on the forehand side. On the backhand side, because the disc is curled up on the inside of our hand, we move our hand forward and it rips out, and that's where we get the spin. On the forehand side, if we just move the hand forward and we don't pop it, we don't get spin. So you've got to focus on, okay, my hand has to go here, forward and left for a totally flat shot. Almost never happens, but it's a good place to kind of learn this, right? On a roller, my hand would go forward and my fingers would pop. I would pop it down, right? So make sure you're getting a nice full pop, getting good spin. That would spin the disc this way. So forehand, spinning the disc to the left, overhand or roller, spinning it, I'm throwing it forward and spinning it down. Hyzer, right, forward, and spinning it up and left, basically, right? But you've got to kind of imagine that spin and imagine the effect that you're trying to have on the disc. And concentrate on your fingers creating that, making that happen. That's going to take away things like this, for example. If I'm trying to spin forward and left, why would I have my fingers go this way, right? Your body's going to naturally kind of take care of that, I think. So focus on your interaction between fingers and disc. This is the clip. I'm just kind of testing it right now. It's weighted. So I use it mostly as a visual aid and like a feel thing so you can feel the backside of the disc. I think we're going to get set up with like affiliate stuff with these guys. They're pretty cool. More to come on the clip. The chip clip. I notice when I do standstills, I tend to get a lot more pop. Is that because my hips are in a better position? Maybe. I'd have to see. I mean, they probably are. Most people like rock a little more naturally. But also it might be because like during a walk-up, you take the disc back differently. I can't be sure. So, but what I do know is if you get your front foot oriented correctly and you focus on popping the disc in the direction that we're trying to throw it, you will get more pop. Yep.
You already did John and B10?
Yep. Yeah, so You're trying to do the right thing with your right arm. You can focus on the hand moving a little bit more. Also, kind of a drill I would have you do if we were in person is I'd have you I'd have you swing something in your right hand, so I'd have you balance on your right leg here. And just have you swing this all the way back and forth. Just get it moving, so we're simulating the right arm moving. Tennis player. And then get your left side quiet. So you should be able to take pretty full swings here. And then pay attention to what your left side needs to do to make this happen, which you'll notice is not much. So the left side needs to stay here. Right now, your left side is going with it, right? Which is actually slowing down your right hand or making it harder for your right hand to just go through the pocket. Now the right hand has to go around. So here, left side quiet. Tech tube. Tube. It's like a umlaut maybe. Tube. Right? Now here you can do kind of intermediate or intermediary drill with this and just swing it in the same manner, not thinking about the disc golf throw. But notice how quiet this is. And then we can go through. You might feel like your left is actually moving back at some point. You might feel like it's just staying. Slip down. So that's where I'd go next. Calm left side. The whole side, the left hand, have it kind of staying in place. What was loud, Corey? Did I crack my neck? I don't even remember it. A young Chris Dickerson. You can't have that beard and wear a hat like that and not be called Chris Dickerson. I mean, you can, just not around me, apparently. So you've got same deal, everything moving together here. See that? Disc attached to the back shoulder. Smelts. See how the eyes are rotating forward here? Getting out ahead of the disc, the chest rotating forward. It's the whole thing going. Right, instead of this. Gotta stare them down. Like that. Maybe that'll help you remember. Okay. Yeah, I considered putting I considered writing a video for the #1, most common amateur mistake or whatever. Right, but it's basically what the last video was. But some guys would watch that video and not the other video, even though they're the same thing. So you're here. Instead, we've got to be here. Moving past. So start it from your left side. Move it past your right side. And then keep moving it forward. From the left, past the right, past the armpit, still going forward. Traffic in this lane is stopped. Traffic in this lane may continue going. And the elbow decided that it wanted to get off the exit and it just cut to the front of the line. Dirty cheater. They don't have mandatory zipper rules over here. Yeah, it's a pretty common issue, right? It's one of the first things that needs to be trained, and if I had probably 100 amateurs, 90 of them, would have the same problem. Right, so starting here, and then take it further back, and then have the hand just move from further back to forward. You can do the part of the drill where you just keep the chest back. And then eventually you can let the chest move forward, but hand has to get way out in front. Let the shoulders be way slower than the hand. Even too slow. Find out what too slow is. Yep. Yeah, you have to get through this. You have to get past this and keep going. Hang in there. That was marked words. I wonder if his name is Mark, Angelo, and if he's an English teacher. Who? Anin? Anin's not on here.
Give me a second.
There's Andreas. I'm moving on to Mango Man. Oh, Andreas. I got him.
Okay.
Anin is Andreas. He's yelling at me. If you're yelling at me, dude, you calm down and we can have a conversation. I'm not gonna talk to you when you're yelling at me, brother. We don't all like your name as much as you do. I can't even pronounce your name right, probably. I'm cool with that, Pixel. I can tell you your name is probably not Andreas. He's like, yep, that's it. Brother, they snowplowed the field. I would. Okay. Ah. Yeah, last time I must have told you to stop over rotating because you stopped. You stopped so much. Yeah, when you watch through, you see your body actually like forcibly stop now. Yeah, you see there? So now it's time to work the timing out, but let your body swing. Let your body go through the swing and follow through, right? So the timing and rhythm of this is from back here. We send the hand, right? Shoulders get about here. You get through this position here. And you hit somewhere around here. Right, but so I want you to get to the moment kind of your extension, right, where the disc starts, or where your arm starts uncurling. So to hit somewhere around here. And then at that point, I want you to leave your left side here. I will show you with a weight. So I want you to leave your left side here, but keep moving your right around. Leave your left here. Don't move your left. Move your right around. As far as you can go with your right. Then at that point, continue moving your right. And the left has to come around then, right? But it's only back here that it has to come around. So right now you've got this very abrupt stop at the end, which is not what we want. But what we want instead is to allow the right to go all the way. And then it gets to a point where the left can't stay back anymore because the right's saying, I'm still going to go because I've got to decelerate now. And then the left comes around. So it feels like two swings basically. It basically is two swings. You basically swing with the right, and then the left gets yoinked around into the follow through. So it's almost like swing, swing. Basically, the disc has left the premises before that point, so it's safe to follow through. Correct. Yeah. The thing is you don't want, like the reason that we stop is so that the body's not sending the hand out and around, shortening our swing, right? We want this thing to continue swinging forward and get a full swing with the arm instead of going here, right? That's sending the left side around early. So we want to get a full swing with the right, and this needs to hang back to let that happen. So the left stays out of the way to let the disc go through in the beginning. And then the left's job, that roll for the left side is complete. Now the next roll is to help decelerate the body. So when the right starts going here, if the left continued to stay, your right would go, boom, bounce there, and you'd tear your shoulder. So instead of doing that, the left says, how can I help? And the right says, well, come along. Help me decelerate. So then instead of going just here and stopping, it looks more like this. Right, so you've got full send with the right, let the left come around after. So that's kind of first manner of business. And once you get that feel, you're probably going to have to go back and clean up the right a little bit. But first and foremost, you want to get that follow through happening, even if it fudges the right side a little bit, and then go back and clean up the right. Good to go. Good afternoon. Correct. Howling Wolf Disc Golf. Which I think we've got some Instagram correspondence on this topic. Any revisited thoughts on the Wind Waker drill? Wow, Wind Waker, one of my favorite drills, kind of slept on. Yeah, I'm not totally against the out mentality. It's not like I'm overhauling everything. I think there are basically two styles. I think when you do more of a swing style, you need to do more of an out. And when you do, so if you're if you got very boom, boom, boom form, then you will do more of an out. So think more of what Seabass puts on his YouTube. I think there's going to be more of an out there than what you see from Chris Taylor, for example. So, where the out comes kind of naturally as a byproduct of moving the disc quickly forward. So yeah. Yeah, I'm debating if that's a video as well. Because I think people think I'm just saying everything I've done in the past is incorrect or wrong, but really there are two styles. There's some stuff that I've clarified in videos and said, I used to teach this. If I say I used to teach this, that's probably a pretty good indication of, okay, my thoughts have changed on that. But then there's some stuff that's stylistic that I might teach one person, might not teach another person. So there's a lot that goes into that. Mango Man. So the interesting thing here is, even from the behind view, I can tell that you're like going over top of your front foot. Like your body here is leaking over that front foot. We've got this back shoulder going forward and weight out. Yeah, you need to work on your lead arm, your like upper body move. Right, so what we see is this. We see here. Right, so from the side that looks like this. Here. Here. Right, over the front foot here. Body leaking forward. Chest opening. So this is that same move, but I would probably work on both of your hands at the same time, right? So I would learn here, together, here, forward, right? So this left hand, forward, forward, right hand, forward, 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 from the back, forward, forward, forward. What's Mango Man's YouTube name? Forward here like this. Because right now, instead of forward, you're going around, around. So instead of that, through. Yep. So practice looks just like that basically. I'll do a couple throws. Back together, forward. And it's almost like your left, like both hands go forward like this, except your left hand gets caught by your body. Back together, forward. Back together, forward. But not around. What is Mango Man's YouTube name?
YouTube name?
Yeah.
Oh. How would I know that?
Well, he probably dropped it when he told you I'm here. Mango Man is here.
This?
No, his YouTube name.
Are you saying you're trying to figure out who Mango Man is to do his thing?
No, I've already done his thing. Oh, filling in for Mango Man. What do you mean? I subbed in? What do you mean you subbed in?
I know earlier Mango Man said that his brother's doing a review and his brother's David Votto.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Okay. Okay, so this review is actually David. Can't get my disc through my pocket without hitting my chest 50% of the time. Yeah, it's because your chest is catching up to your hand, right? If the hand's here and the chest is rotating forward, well, it's technically moving to the left, and your hand is moving towards the right, or at the very least, going straight, and the shoulder's cutting it off. So this is all the same issue. Yep. You're welcome. Boop, boop, boop. Wonder if this guy's real name is Cody. Just a wild guess. Okay. Yeah, this little move with the left foot is kind of a precursor to early rotation. So right about here, the foot starts swinging forward. Then he starts opening. Right, if the lower body starts opening like that. So if I'm here, and this starts opening, basically no matter where I have this, right, let's say I start here in a great position, and then I open. Well, I don't change anything with my arm, and it starts rotating my shoulders early. Or I have to change something with my arm, and I have to force it to kind of stay where it's at, which collapses my pocket. So I would work on here and getting in this position. Right, where your hips aren't turning forward at all. This is going to allow you from that point to start moving the disc forward. But if it starts here and starts moving around, well, you can try to not go around with your hand, but your lower body's kind of already said, hey, we're going around. And then the hand's not going to be able to track back inside. So I'll show you from behind though, because that can be helpful, I think. So let's say I'm coiling, 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 and now I start to uncoil with the legs. See how it's already tracking it out and around like that. Just that little move with my leg versus if I'm able to stay kind of back with my hips, now I can move the disc forward through here. So, do you still think the twirly bird is a good drill? I think the twirly bird is still a great drill. Just depends on how you use it. So, I think it's great to feel the coil of the shoulders. Like people still struggle with that. So, and originally that's what it was for. Is I had a student who really just every time they tried to go back with the disc, they would do this. And it's like, no, like literally put your arms out and twist, like twist back. So I think it's still great for that. I still use it from time to time. Just I don't use it as a here's what the lead arm does, right? It's not going out and around. The lead arm's coming through. So, yeah. Drills just teach one aspect of the throw, and a drill can be totally fanciful on many levels, but if it gets the student doing the one thing that you need them to do, good to go. This is a second person from Michigan today. Yeah, at this point, I think you guys are confident of what I'm going to say here. Right, and I'll just talk about the interaction with the wait, okay, which one of you am I reviewing right now?
Fill it out.
Which is which one? Not John.
The
Jakud the goat.
got it.
Yeah.
That's the issue is no understanding.
Okay.
It's a talking to the person issue.
Okay. Please help me with front foot. I don't think your front foot's the issue. I think your upper body's the issue. You're planting. Maybe it opens just a little bit, but the reason that your front foot is, yeah, well, I'm not worried about your front foot. I'm worried about this. The fact that this disc is attached to your left shoulder and you transport it forward like this, and then you have this short swing here, which is also why the disc isn't coming out of your hand cleanly. Because from here, it's like you're just pushing forward at that point instead of it ripping around your grip. So, but if you want me to talk about your front foot, I can talk about that instead. So, you let me know which one you want to talk about, and I'm going to take a sip of my cold coffee. The other thing, so the upper body, is that what we're talking about? Yeah, so you've got this very, your disc is here, your shoulder's here. They go, let's meet up and let's stay together for the rest of time. Here, oh, we're too far apart. Yay, we're back together. Still together. Little swing. All right, so here, in your hand, again, this we've gone over this a lot today because this is a very prevalent issue with amateurs. But you've got to move the disc past your body. You can't have it attached to this left side. So let's start with it on the left side here. Your hand's going to be, roughly 8 o'clock on the disc. You're going to slide it across your chest to your right side. Now it's left, your trail side. And then we're going to continue to slide it forward. so it can totally pass your body. Just a note here, don't pop your wrist like this. Sometimes people like to do that. Don't do that. Here. Notice that the disc is kind of curling up in my arm. It's not going like here where my elbow's staying still. It's moving forward. And then you take that further back. Hand forward. My hand is going to force my shoulders to move so they can get by. It says, excuse me, right shoulder, I would like to pass. So it does. Boom, still forward. Another drill for that. You can go like up against the wall. Have your enough space for the disc between you and the wall. Slide your hand, keep the back of your hand on the wall. Eventually, the back of your hand can't stay on the wall, and then the disc has to kind of take over. So enough room for the disc here. Hand sliding past the body. There. Then you can take that into a backswing. Hand on the wall. Disc on the wall. This is for you, Pebble. It's not coming out ever again. I will not be contained by your social norms. Pew. What is this? Only 8 left. Only 8 left. There's still a little spittle of coffee in my canteen. Puska. That is a cool looking disc because it is clear and blue. It's just blank. You know, wiped MVP proton discs look pretty clean. I don't throw any proton plastic. So you see how your hand's laid back behind your elbow right here? I would actually just take that. I would kind of lay your hand back in the beginning. You see how your hand's like out in front of your elbow? We don't see this with a lot of guys. You don't want that much slack in the arm really. You don't want it to be tight, taut, like stretched out to bits. But if it's here and then you move everything else forward, by the time the arm wants to move, it's not actually going to drag the disc. The disc it's going to be kind of too loose. So in the beginning, you want to drop your basically fingers back behind your wrist and your wrist back behind your elbow. So when you wind up here, you want kind of that relationship where it's the elbows in front of the wrist is in front of the disc. So if that looks like this, cool. If it's this, you know, some guys do that. But what you don't see usually is this, where it's over here. Because that slack's never going to be pulled out. But here, if it's almost taut, and then you get the stretch, you're good to go. So when everything starts moving forward, then your hand is already here, your fingers are already stretching back and away, and then you can pop against that stretch. But yeah, right now you can't create any stretch because it's like even there with the forward move, it doesn't get taut. I think it's also going to help with the path of your hand, because right now from here it's kind of has to go and flip around. This way you'll be able to go directly forward. Yeah, I was half joking, Pebble, so don't take it too seriously. But also a hand in the pocket's just not a big deal.
That was Fuska.
That's Fuska. So focus on starting with the hand back. Yeah, start the hand back. Don't like put a bunch of tension on your arm, but sometimes you'll see guys even start like here. Like Ricky and Eagle will have this here, kind of loading this back. And then it gets like really pulled tight when the body starts moving forward. So, but you want it mostly, like you don't want the rubber band like, I wish I had something I could show you. Right, you don't want it like this from the get, like that right away. But you know, you don't want it like this either, because when it stretches, it's just gonna go boop, and it's never gonna get taut. So I don't know, maybe something like that. And then it goes when everything starts moving forward. You're just has a little too much slack in the line. Yeah, it'll change forehands for sure. Seems like, probably seems like an overwhelming critique at first, and then you'll notice, oh, that's actually pretty important. Okay, Stone. 05. That's right, Drew Gibson. Senior. Senior. That means Drew would be his son. Was that a fake laugh, Mikey?
No, that was a good one.
You went,
Just a little effort left.
Are you younger than Drew? Maybe.
Well, there's your backhanded compliment.
You're definitely bigger than Drew. I would assume. I mean, you look taller than Drew. So you would be like his younger brother. You know how younger brothers are usually bigger and taller. Except in Mikey's family. What's up with that? Okay, so big issue here is lack of proper coil. So you're uncoiling with the lower body here, and your hand, whoops, well actually it is that part that I'm looking at, but this stops coiling even though your hand continues moving back. So here the hand is moving apart from the shoulder moving. And someone asked me earlier if the twirly bird was down and out. Well, nope. This is a case I would actually consider in private lessons, depending on what we were doing, using it. But you've got to learn basically to allow you've got to let your butt turn towards the target, the whole final step. So you go here, go, boom. Turns towards the target, the whole final step. Right now you've got kind of two things happening. you're stepping forward. Well, I guess it's really one. Kind of like you step forward and you open, instead of stepping forward and closing, that is, closing your hips off to the target. This is open, welcoming, receiving of the target. This is, I'm cutting you off. You can't hang out with me anymore, right? So, closed for business. So we've got to get this, the hips. Once you get your weight on your left, now the hips need to turn back, away. Your belt buckle, your belly button needs to turn away from the target. Also your chest. As your arm moves back, as your hand moves back, it's moving back because your shoulder's taking it back. Like that. So, combine those two things, the hips and the chest / shoulders, back like that. Here, away, away. Another way doing this is ye old door frame, which I've got a bunch of crap in front of right now. Too many teaching aids. Knocked, shoulder against it, bent down. I'm going to let the weight of my body turn my shoulders away from the target, turn my hips away from the target. Da, 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 ba, da, 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 da. I believe there are beautiful things seen by the astronauts. In a very Owl City mood recently. Yeah, I think as you're rebuilding, first focus on the right arm. There's a lot that's kind of happening, including your thumb, like coming up here. I don't know if you notice that or not. But thumbs up, kind of clamping down, right? You don't really have a secure grip on the disc. You're not moving the disc forward, right? The first thing I would want for you is to be able to feel, okay, what am I trying to do to this thing? This thing that I'm holding. Whoa, hello. Let's break it. So the thing that will best serve you in your form journey is first learning to focus on what is happening here. Because everything else hopefully moves to improve what's happening with this, right? Or makes this part easier. So the lower body and all that, it's a little bit overdone, a little bit kind of extra in some places. So I'd rather you kind of master the basic move here with the hand, right? So if you can't feel this thumb coming off, first step first is kind of, okay, do your normal throw and just feel what your hand's doing. Just see if you can focus on what's happening here with kind of your mind's eye. Don't really have a better way of saying that. But obviously I'm in the Illuminati. That's why I said that. Right, so all this kind of flopping around, right? The goal is to move the disc forward, right? That gives us our miles per hour, or in non-freedom units, kilometers per hour. So every move of this disc is to serve the purpose of getting it moving forward faster, or helping increase rotation. Right? It just so happens that on the backhand side, if we keep our hand kind of on the outside of the disc here, right, or even towards the back a little bit, it doesn't need to be all the way towards the back, right? But if that's 12 o'clock in front of us, maybe somewhere around 8 o'clock, if we can move this thing forward with our hand on the back around 8, and keep moving it forward, well, at some point it's going to eventually uncurl and start whipping around. And if our grip is good, and if we can pay attention to, okay, this thing ripping out of our grip, and we can work on correct grip pressure to make that happen, then every other form piece is going to be easy. Okay, so hand, so I'd focus hand on the back of the disc. Let's learn to move the disc directly forward. Not going to do any squirrely things with the arm. Go as slow as you need to. Just kind of feeling. If my thumb goes up, not a problem, but I'm going to be able to recognize it. It's not going to happen without me knowing. And if I know it goes up, well, I can fix that. I can press down, right? I can focus on, okay, what do I need to do to make sure my thumb doesn't go up? Well, let me actually think about feeling my thumb push down on the plate a little bit. It doesn't have to be a death grip. Cool. I can feel that. I can feel my hand back towards 8 o'clock. I can feel kind of this curl develop in my arm. Yeah. And once you can get, okay, the thumb staying down, okay, so you've got kind of like a checklist here, right? You've got to get the hand moving forward with the hand towards the back of the disc. You've got to make sure that the thumb's not coming up, right? The grip is secure. And then we've got to start working on, okay, now we can start focusing on too little grip, too much grip. Is it just slipping out? Do I need to apply more grip pressure? Is it coming out super late? Do I need to loosen up the grip, or am I getting a nice little redirect forward and it's popping out of my hand? So any time you spend on that is going to serve the rest of your form journey super well. So again, moving the disc forward, hand around 8 o'clock-ish, and then you can start focusing on what's the interaction as it's coming out of your hand. Is it ripping out or is it slipping out? Yeah, I would say so. I generally think it's better to start from the hit and work backwards. Because you can start from the footwork first, and you can plug everything in, and you can go footwork, 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 and if this thing's like slipping out of your hand and it's not ripping out of your hand, and that's the last thing you do, well, 3 years down the road, you're going to be throwing better. So that's kind of a downside versus starting with the hand. You throw better right away because the interaction's there. Not only that, while you're in however long your form journey is going to take, you always have something to test, right? If footwork or if upper body work or something along the way doesn't help this, then you know you're probably not doing it right? Or you're missing something within that. But if this is wrong, like how are you going to be able to, what's the test? What's the test of my footwork being correct or whatnot? It's like the test is, does it make me more accurate? Does it help me do this better in some way? Does it help me move the disc better in some way? So num 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 num. Sweet slow motion of gyroplastic from the Gyropalooza box being thrown. Just kind of a fun fact. Watch this left toe go kabonk and hit again. Double tap. Double tap to stay back. Yeah, this is kind of cool. So you see this little toe tap here? Kabunk. And the double tap to stay back. So I see what you're trying to do with your offside. If you thought the first one was loud, I imagine that had to be louder. So the difference is, I would say that the right hand's not going deep enough, not going far enough. And I think the left hand is probably a bit early and not tight enough. Right, so instead of being here, where their left hand's still pocketed here, this left elbow especially needs to come, boom, tight here. And you want both your arms to be tight. It's kind of this position, right? So here will help you. So I'd focus on making sure that the right gets out even more ahead and get the left even tighter to the body. Right, you're definitely headed in the right direction. Just clean that up. I don't feel like we need to belabor that point. Why use many words when few words do trick? This reminds me of Worcester. Yeah, more like going past your body more. So not like more out in front like this, more out in front like. it's got to move faster past your body. So either you got to move this hand faster or your body's got to slow down. Preferably if you can move your hand faster, that'd be better. Yeah, deeper, I was saying, like through the pocket a little bit more. There's a snowman here. Good night. It's so funny. We have basically the same exact throw and the same exact speed. It's just me. I'm looking at me, except you're skinnier.
Oh my gosh, it is you.
Look, it's exactly me.
Oh, that's crazy. Everything. Yeah.
Except for the nose angle.
Yeah, I mean, it looks more.
The wobble, though, is the same.
Yeah, everything looks the same, but the form looks so similar.
I know. But you know, that nose angle is worth probably, that nose angle is worth at least
50 to 75 right there.
Yeah, it's worth like 50 to 75 feet right there. Yeah, Chris Taylor told me basically every degree of nose angle that's like suboptimal is worth 10 feet. Yeah, I mean, wow. This is really looking at my form. Well, let me tell you what we got to do better. So we've got to delay. The big timing piece is we've got to delay your swing timing. See how your arm's coming through and you're not fully planted yet? Like your heel it's not quite down. Your arm starts pulling through here. It's the tiniest bit, man, but yeah, you're not fully planted yet. Yeah, I think the hand could come through a little bit better, but also I'm not so sure that this swing is like the worst thing in the world. I'm just looking at like Ellie Ezra and it's like, well, she's throwing 70, so maybe one day we can throw as fast as her. We need like 3 more miles an hour. But my max is actually 68.4, so get on my level, brother. It's a race. You and me, first to 70, it's on. He's going to tell me, oh, I already threw 70. Yeah, the plant happening first, being a little more secure, right, because you bleed past it a little bit here. And then nose angle. And nose angle, I mean, if I were you, I would fix nose angle first probably, just because it's the easiest thing probably of the other form projects that I mentioned. But you're going from here.
Dang, bro. So you guys have got to do now.
Oh, 69.8? Oh, he ain't throwing 70, is he? Right, but from here, you start pronating into your hit. So you've got two options from here. Either don't pronate, and you need to supinate into the hit, and your wrist needs to be down, right? You've got to feel when it comes out, what is the position of the disc, right? And you've got to supinate more and more if you feel that your palm's here at the hit. Right, so if your palm's here at the hit and it's nose up, your palm needs to be, and your wrist is down, then your palm needs to be, try here. And then keep tweaking it until it's nose down. All right. Was your 69.8 nose up? Do you throw all of them nose up? Do you have me beat in speed but not in distance? This is what I need to know. I'm competitive. I need somebody just a notch above me. But yeah, there, and you can feel that. So start just noticing, okay, at the hit, where was my hand? And then start tweaking it over and over, especially if your wrist is already down. Yep. Give them type. Brother, you got all the time in the world to submit these things ahead of time. This is your little reproach here. It's your verbal spanking. Take your licking. We racing? No, you gotta race somebody else, Blitz. You gotta race Mikey.
Wasn't just already at the finish line that we racing?
This is the almost fast boys trying to get to 70. You're in the fast boys trying to get to the. You got to race that guy who put up the video of trying to throw 80s or 700 feet. Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah, revert. Go back to the other left-hand form. Oh, you're testing a different form. You're not testing a different off arm. I think my max might have been 78.2. And maybe Luke's was 0.4. Anyways, arguing over points. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to work on your offside. And you have to, like, force it to stay in place. I just thought of Night at the Museum. Stay. If that's what it takes. Yeah, so your left side's just too active. I mean, I've done it a bunch of different ways personally. So I showed earlier just the feel of swinging something in the right. You can move this pretty quick, and there's no need for the left side to be active, right? So if you're just paying attention to your left side and you start feeling like this, you're going to feel that that's probably a bit slower. And then recreate that feeling with a throw. That's kind of drill option 1. option 2, and I'd be careful with this one, is actually have something like weighted in this offside. Just again from one leg, just feel. That this is staying. We're not swinging this thing around, right? Hopefully the weight helps you feel how still it is. It almost feels like mentally that this is anchored. It almost feels like, okay, this is the pole here. And this moves. So the left arm and all that needs to start chill. And then you get it from wherever it's coming from to that same position. So you just go from a coil to that same position you just worked. Just straight from the coil, back to that same position. Straight from the coil, back to that same position. Should I be opening my chest at the brace? Absolutely not. Keep it all back. I love when people tell me, this is David Wiggins in a max distance comp doing a 360. Not a good thing to use. It's like, if your argument is that pros actually do this spinny thing, and you look at the maximum amount of spin before you can have on the throw a 360, and then he's not spinning, it's like, why would we think anybody doing less than that should spin? So anyways, people with logic, or trying to be with logic. So here you see how he plants here, so here's his brace. Where is his chest? It is back. He lets it move forward as it wants to. Now he's side on, right? So when the disc comes out of his hand, where is he? Mostly side on. Not 100% side on, but mostly side on. So I'm going to soapbox for just a second, because people say, well, these are distance mechanics. What if they're going for accuracy? Well, this is the situation that we see. What are the most efficient mechanics for distance? So when I'm talking about form, an efficient form, that's what I'm talking about. Moving the disc forward most efficiently, most easily. You do a lot of stuff for accuracy. That is not the most efficient way to move a disc forward in terms of speed, in terms of distance. So pure body mechanics efficiency, accuracy, you do other stuff. Accuracy, you can get the chest going forward. Accuracy, we don't need a formal whip. We don't need a pivot out of the hand. We don't need all these things. Just like a putt. It's like a putt. What's most efficient for a putt? Well, it's not distance mechanics with the putt. It's different mechanics for that. But most people, when they're looking for drive mechanics, it's not because they want to alter. What they want is stock distance shots that are accurate, and that's the best form we see. Anyways, soapbox over. My 69.8 was plus 3 degrees. Oh yeah, I'm still wondering. Plus 3. Have you seen the Postman drill from DG Spin Doctor? Does that work the same thing? You know, I saw it once upon a time. I do not remember. But oddly enough, Yanni just messaged me yesterday saying that our most recent video was very similar to the Postman drill. So I'm going to assume they are similar.
Can you refresh your library? Because Will there, you're actually supposed to be in there.
Will.
He didn't submit his late. He just gave me access late.
Usually I don't have to
Right.
refresh for that, so.
And he tried closing the app and opening it back.
Oh, you put it in my library.
Oh, that's why. Bobby.
So he's next?
Yeah. Yeah, he actually gave me access a long time ago. I didn't see it.
Okay, I know what we worked on last time. Cool. Nice improvement for sure. Because he did his stuff in person. Yeah, I'm not gonna, since I just saw you in person and I know like how much time you've had to work on this since then. Now that the left side is staying back and the right side is swinging ahead of the body, now we want to make sure that the disc moves through cleanly. So your hand starts leading the disc very early on here, right here. You see that? So in order to get spin, let me just put the clip on the Undertaker. Boop, boop. So now that we've got the right arm leading, let's make sure that it's moving in the correct manner. So right now your hand moves on front of the disc about here, right? So you're getting, now your spin, now the like pivot effect, your arm's essentially going out from here, right? So this little clip is going around. Right? What we want to do is compress that time that it's going out and around, and we want to delay that for a good bit longer, right? So if we can get this thing nice and forward now, instead of going out and around for, 1, 2, 3 count, goes here, and it pops out in a 1 count. And when it does that, that's where it rips out of the hand quickly, and we're going to get that nice clean hit out of the hand, right? So that's where we get the full kind of whip effect. So continue doing what you're doing with your body overall and start focusing on the hand being towards the back of the disc, more towards 8 o'clock the whole time. So move the disc forward with your hand on 8 o'clock the whole time. It can't stay once you get here. It's gonna move to the front, but we're gonna delay how early it goes out. So right now it goes around to the front here. We're gonna delay that for as long as possible. Okay, so we're through the cue, right?
Yep.
Okay, JC the short. Don't hold your breath, brother. I'm gonna tighten up. Mikey, it reminded me of a part of a movie.
Movie I know.
Oh yeah. If I say there's a leak in the boat, you'll remember the movie.
Oh yeah.
And then you look at his face.
Wow, it's getting me cold. Getting ready to kiss his wife.
Yeah, I was deciding if I wanted to tell him that or not. Maybe it would help him avoid it. Jello scrunchie.
Jello scrunchie. Rubber shoes.
Okay, big thing, you've got to lay the wrist back for sure. Because right now you're here. Yeah, you don't want it laying back at this point. Don't ask me why. Like in tennis, it's okay for the weight of the racket to lay the wrist back. In disc golf, none of the guys who throw forehand far do that. So for some reason, that's not the way. I think it might have something to do with the weight of the disc, but I'm unsure. Yeah, so get the wrist back. Wrist back as you move forward. I like to see your off arm actually come across instead of hanging out here, keeping your chest open. And then when you hit here, this needs to be solid. So don't just sink down into this leg. This needs to be a stomp, as if you're going to crush something here. And then throw. And now that your wrist is back, you're going to slap forward. There's not going to be another direction here. If you're throwing a hyzer, that'd be different. If you're throwing a hyzer with this body position, the slap would still be in towards the forearm, but it might go up. But right now you're throwing relatively flat, which would be here, forward. So straight and left with the hand. Tennis racket back, be ready. What was you talking about? Chaperé. So many forehands today, it's glorious.
Yeah, this is not normal.
Glorious. Maybe I'm getting out of the backhand box. People are like, wait a second. Nice sriracha shirt. It's pretty sick. So you probably want this foot more here, like more perpendicular, porpoise. Yeah, this is probably a little too far back. Nice job with the front leg, solid. Yeah, big scoop problem here. Yeah, in terms of like overall form, probably like 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 even. 8.5 out of 10 even. But this little roll is costing you big time. Your palm going and rolling up, it's costing you. So this foot, not too far back, caused a little too much work for the lower body. Here, more so side on. After that, you've got to feel that you're going here. So don't let your palm flip up. Keep it here. So we've got this motion here. We don't have a rolling motion during the throw. Just forward, and then we've got some of this. Those are the two moves. So you're going here, letting your palm roll up like this, and then you have to recorrect. It's better if you can just move the rim forward the whole time, get that loaded back, and then pop against it, instead of here having to recatch and then pop. What's her name? Kuska. Kuska, because she's a girl. Kuska. I wish I could remember her other form of use. What's her name? Yeah, so you're trying to move you're doing a good job trying to move the lead hand forward past the body. The issue actually is in your setup here. Because right here you kind of choke yourself a little bit. You get pinched instead of having this space. That's mostly a coil issue. So we've got to let your hips turn back like away from the target. And we've got to let both of these shoulders turn, right? So the left shoulder needs to turn a little bit. Your left hand's fine where it's at, just needs to let the shoulder go. Actually reminds me a little bit of Kristen Tatar. I'll show you if I can find it. Macy Valdez, getting the gittins. Let me find this post. This one. This one. Yeah, this way. Just watch her like the left hand where it stays. And then like her left shoulder actually goes back. So left hand's going to stay here, but watch the left shoulder. Full coil. Yeah. It's a nice one to look at. Oh yeah. So we've got to get to where the hips are turning away from the target during this last step. And we've got to get to where the shoulders are turning away, both shoulders. So we can't like leave the left here and just turn the right. If we just move the right hand, that's where we get into this kind of choking ourselves position. Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I found something.
So good.
Sorry, I had to cut it off because I thought I might have been a delivery person, and I don't know if they want to be live streamed to the world. Okay. So turn. So sometimes I've done this with, twirly bird, where it's here. You should feel this. You should feel this turn of the chest. Also a good drill. Just a little door frame action here. Holding, letting your body weight turn you. So, hips get turned back, shoulder gets turned back. You should have lots of room in your backswing now. Here, instead of here. And then your hand will be able to get through much easier. So then you work your hand through. All right. Well, guys and gals, and general children, that's what we've got. That's what we got. We're about to eat. I finished this thing before noon.
We.
Is anybody online right now? Ask your questions if you got them. I'll take the first question in, and then I'm gone. All right, well, no questions, I guess. Perfect.
You're feeling light today, boys.
How much speed do you think tucking the off arm adds? I don't know. I don't think of the off arm as adding speed, but more like not taking away speed. The off arm just gets like more or less in the way. So, unfortunately, I think basically you've got your arm speed. You've got your arm speed, and then there's a lot of stuff that can slow whatever that top speed down is. So do you think you aim at 9 or 10 o'clock? I don't think you aim at 9 or 10 o'clock. I think you aim moving the disc forward. And then it comes out perhaps 10 or 11 o'clock. All right. Thank you. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.